Good morning, all of the It Start Monday members that are watching this. This is a preview, really, of the workshop that we're going to be doing on Thursday. So in order for you to know what you're turning up to, I'm going to let you know what this session will be about. So following off the back of last week, which was all about turning the boat around, it's all about creating, instigating, maintaining changes in our life, really. This is like the next step for me. This is all about being in alignment with ourselves. This is how we're going to keep those habits and keep all of the direction and focus and positivity working for us. I think we all know what it feels like to be in alignment. It's like when we've got our mojo, we're in that flow state, and I think there is certain ingredients to that. Sometimes it's because we're doing something that we identify with as being our purpose. It might be that we get some satisfaction and fulfillment from whatever it is that we're doing. And also, what's quite important, I think people often overlook, is there needs to be an element of challenge in that as well. It needs to be something that we don't necessarily know we can do easily, but also know isn't impossible. So those things combined can often make us feel like we are aligned with our values and align with the things that we want to attract into our life. So there's 10 key areas. Again, I'm not going to obviously preempt excuse me, what I'm doing on Thursday with you, but just know that we're gonna really go through things like visualizing exactly what that perfect day would be for us, or that best version of ourselves. What would it look like? Who would be in it? You know, I'm going to take you through that visualization. That would be quite interesting. By the way, we'll be doing some journaling as we go. I always want you to bring a notebook or your journal along with you to these sessions, because there's plenty for you to write down, plenty for you to work on beyond the 30 minutes that we'll do. We're going to talk about self-worth and how it's okay for us to know that we're not perfect and that we will make mistakes, and that's actually part of working in alignment with ourselves. There's also reasons why, a lot of the time we might feel really good in ourselves, and we feel a bit nervous. Also because, this feeling's going to end. It's ended for me in the past before, and there's that fear that kicks in to say, don't get too high, or don't, feel too confident, or don't feel too much joy, because that's something that we know is taken away from you. We need to work around that. We need to think about that as well. We'll think about risk. Do we take enough risk and curiosity? Are we curious enough? I think it's a great word. It's a great term in NLP, because to be curious is to be open and to be inquisitive and to ask questions and to wonder. And these are all really good things for us to do. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. How being flexible is vital. Being of a fixed mindset is not good. To be rigid is not going to help us. We need to make sure that our expectations are valid and that they're not too lofty, and that they don't set us up for failure in themselves. So we'll be talking around those two things. Patience is always a really big part, isn't it? We've got to be patient with ourselves. Also creating support around us as well, and having the right people for the right reasons. I think too often we gravitate to being in certain environments and around certain people, not realising that sometimes they actually suck more out of us than they actually sort of do to motivate and empower and encourage. So I think always evaluating that is really important. Honesty, being honest with yourself. How honest with yourself are you? I think a lot of us can happily tell ourselves a bit of a story and sort of living it to the extent where we actually start to believe it. And we always know what truth is for us, but if we want to be in alignment, then truth's going to have to be a really big ingredient of that. And honesty. Are you able to stand up for yourself? Are you able to set boundaries? Are you able to tell people what works for you and what doesn't? And if you're not, then you're always going to be people pleasing. And if you're doing that, then you're never going to be on your own path, are you? You're going to be sort of caught on somebody else's as well as your own as well. Self-love being the last area. I think the last big sort of area that we'll look at is how, if we can't love ourselves despite the things that we've messed up with in the past, if we can't forgive ourselves, give ourselves permission to want more, do more, be more, then we're always going to be on that loop, as opposed to being on that straight line. So I think you'll agree there's some really important points and areas that we're going to elaborate on during this talk. But when we're not in alignment, I think that our productivity and our performance generally, you might be talking professionally, you know, that will always suffer. When we are people pleasing, we know that we can be anxious, we can be restless, we can force things, we can be hasty. You know, we absolutely lose connection to our goals and our purpose as well. So alignment isn't a word that people usually think about. We'll also talk about consistency. Just turn up, you know, consistency is huge. That's my favorite word at the minute. I've written a list of the things that I'm going to do today. I'm going to run, I'm going to do my bodies, I'm going to get in the cold tub, I'm going to read, meditate, breathe, and do my gratitude, you know. And yeah, if I expect myself to do all of them for an hour, then obviously I'm going to set myself up for failure. But that realistic expectation is that I actually today, for going for like a full house and a clean sweep, I'm just going to ask very little versions of each of those things so that it's doable. And because I'll have achieved it, obviously it will then sort of lead me into, right, I'm going to build on that and it will be a day 2 situation. You might recognize that on my stories, because that's what I'm going to put in the corner. It'll be like, right, day 1. And that's, I'm accountable to you. And I think that's why It Starts Monday works very well, is because you're accountable not just to yourself but to others in your groups as well. So I know that you're benefiting from that a lot. Anyway, look, I said this would be a quick preview. It's ended up being a 6-7 minute video. So yeah, we're going to look for that harmony. We're going to look for that spiritual, emotional, intellectual togetherness. And you know, it seems funny thinking about, are you on your own side? It's a funny question, isn't it? But absolutely, a lot of the time we'll say we want something, and then we'll actually create behaviours that take us further away from what it is that we've actually said that we want. So we absolutely need to look at the terminology that we use and the goals that we're imposing, and actually, you know, whether we are actually on our own side. Anyway, that's going to be a really interesting talk. Thursday, 6 p.m. Obviously, It Starts Monday. The guys there are going to be sharing with you how you can join in on that Zoom call. But I really look forward to seeing you guys there. And yeah, I think this is going to be a really good topic. There's certainly a lot of notes being written in researching everything that I wanted to talk to you about. So I'll see you then. Bye.